David Des Roches joins us now live from Washington. He's an associate professor at the Near East South Asia Center for Security Studies. Great to have you with us. So Finland joining NATO, looks like Sweden's going to join NATO too. Does this represent a massive backfire for Russia, which wanted to prevent NATO expansion?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just look at the Finnish population. Prior to the invasion of Ukraine, only about 25% of Finns wanted to join NATO. Right now it's about 76%. So honestly, Putin has been the engine of modern expansion of NATO. These countries, which are developed, which have active armed forces, they've decided that they just cannot live alongside Russia at the mercy of Russia, and that's all because of Putin. This is a spectacular own goal.
What do you make of Russia's threats to follow through with retaliatory actions if Finland does join NATO? What could it do?
Well, the first thing they could do is stop shipments of natural gas. Russia's already trying to do that south of the Baltic Sea. So Poland, Bulgaria, they've announced today that there's going to be some other issues that, have sent the German natural gas markets spiking. And Finland, in particular, is very dependent on Russian natural gas. I think the second thing we'll probably see will be some sort of cyber attacks. And then finally, people forget, but about 10% of what is historical Finland was seized by the Soviet Union in 1940 and then later on 1944. So they may, some Russians may try to revive the irredentist claims that date from the time of Stalin.
I mean, there's a lot of concerns over Putin's paranoia about NATO. Where do you see the state of European security going with the expansion of NATO? Does it make us safer, or does it ultimately provoke a more aggressive, more paranoid Russia?
Yeah, good question. So, you didn't have NATO expansion when Putin was in power. I mean, what we had was a period when the Soviet Union collapsed and the former Warsaw Pact countries were trying to figure out, how they could best secure their arrangement. And honestly, in the 1990s under the Clinton administration, and then in the early 2000s, we thought we were at the end of history. And a lot of our European partners viewed NATO as sort of a junior varsity version of the European Union, where you'd spend some time in NATO, show that you can play well with everybody else, conduct some rudimentary reforms to your systems, and then be welcomed into the European Union. That all ended in 2007, 2008 with Putin's Munich Security Conference speech and then the invasion of Georgia. What we're seeing now are two mature countries that are already members of the European Union, and they're being driven solely by security considerations. So it goes back to the core mission of NATO, which arguably we strayed away from a little bit in the 90s and 2000s.
David, great to speak with you. Thank you very much indeed. David Des Roches there in Washington.